again, Guns Forever Productions welcomes you to our compact 9mm review. I'm Derek.
I'm Jason.
And here we go. Start us off by talking about what you have, Jay.
I've got a Beretta Nano 9mm. It is a fairly new model for Beretta. It is a single stack 6-round magazine. It is just under 1 inch, not by much, but it is.
Not by much.
It is a very, very streamlined pistol. There are no slide locks, no external safeties. There is no magazine safety. The only functioning safety on this is the trigger safety. And it is just a simple operation, and that's about it.
Okay. We're going to move on now to what I have. This is a Springfield XD-S 9mm. This is the 3.3 inch. They also have a 4-inch version in 9mm and 45. But this one is the 3.3 and 9. This has the, every Glock owner hates it, trigger lock, I guess the grip safety is what everybody calls it, which is what it is. It has that. It has an ambidextrous magazine release that you do not need to switch the button around for. There's one on each side and it works both directions. Trigger safety in the trigger as well, and a loaded chamber indicator. The slide is stainless steel and has a melanite finish on it. The barrel also has the melanite finish, a very, very, very tough finish. They're really hard to scratch. I believe all of the externally exposed metal parts on this gun have that melanite finish. The sights are metal. I mean, for a carry gun, it is a little on the heavy side. It's at 23 ounces with an empty magazine. Like you were saying, the Nano's 19.
Yes.
And they're physically about the same size.
Yeah.
You know, you want to.
Yeah, they're not far off.
I think the Nano's a shorter barrel. That's
one less. It's not by much, and the Nano is a 3-inch barrel, where the XD-S is a 3.3.
Yep. The Springfield, as many of you know, is from Croatia, so it is an imported weapon. But you know, it's a nice, high quality, well-made, well-finished handgun. I love it. I carry this gun daily, and I would stake my life on it pretty readily.
Yeah.
It has this one has 2 7-round stainless steel magazines. The newer ones come with 1 7 and 1 8 round. And they have a sleeve on the magazine they call the extension. Pretty original, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Extension. But that adds that pinky finger onto the really short grip of a single stack.
Yes.
That's one thing I do notice about the Beretta Nano is it's got a really short grip on it.
Yes.
But before we get into too many details, we have one more girl at the ball here that we got to talk about.
Yes, the fat girl. It is the High Point C-9. It is a very heavy 29 ounces. It is about 1 1/4 inches thick. It comes standard with 1 8-round magazine.
I believe they actually come with 2. The brand new ones, I think they come with 2.
I thought they only came with 1.
Yes.
Yes.
They might. I don't know.
It comes with 1 8-round magazine.
I bought mine used, so
And
it came
same
with
here.
1. So.
Same here. And you can get 10-round magazines for it, which give it a nice full grip if you're wanting to target shoot with it for extended periods.
Yeah, and all things considered, for being as ugly and ergonomically uncomfortable as it is, that 10-round magazine, having that extra finger on there, makes a big difference.
Yes, it does.
Big difference. It's actually a really comfortable gun at that point, and even without it.
Yeah, even without it, it has just about a full grip.
Yeah.
Right, it's just like a 1/4 inch short of a full grip.
Yep, and it's a 3.5 inch barrel. The barrel is actually painted with a really sticky paint. I'm not entirely sure what they specifically call it, probably paint.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they dunk it on really, really thick. So if you ever get a high point, let me give you a tip. Find somebody, or if you can do it yourself and actually get in here and polish the paint off the feed ramp. That'll make it feed a whole lot nicer. That's one of their big problems.
And the other thing that commonly needs to be done is the lips on the magazine need to be adjusted.
Yep, right up on the front. This is a Pro Mag magazine, so it didn't need it, but right up on the front up here, there's little tabs. If you don't know how to do it, usually they don't need it too bad.
No.
Neither of these magazines have had it done.
No, they're usually not too bad. Sometimes they have to be tweaked just a little bit just to get the feed correct. But once they're tweaked,
Yeah.
this handgun will eat any ammo that you feed it.
Everything, and everything. Hollow points, soft points, full metal jackets, plus P, standard loads.
Yes.
Steel casings, aluminum casings, brass casings, nickel casings. It takes it all.
Yes, and the only time you might have an issue is if you have a really light round.
Yeah.
Light powder loading around.
Yeah, because it is that blowback design, so
Yes.
it actually uses the recoil of the round to cycle in the next round. I don't know. We can talk about accessories. Let's talk about
Yes.
accessories.
For the Beretta, it's fairly new in the market yet. It's been out for a couple of years, but in the scheme of things, it's still considered fairly new. You can get I have only seen Beretta offering the magazines for it yet. The holster selection is good, but it is most commonly inside the waistband holsters. I do not see very many outside the waistband holsters.
Yeah. That gets pretty small to be carrying the outside the waistband or
Yes.
open carry. A lot of times if you're doing that, you're carrying something like a Glock 19 or a Springfield XD or XDM or something a little
Yeah.
bit larger, more capable.
Yeah.
The accessories for the Springfield XD-S, out of the XD line, the XD-S is the one that doesn't have a whole lot of accessories available for it, outside of things like holsters and grips and magazines and things like that, and aftermarket sights. XD series is usually pretty good about having an aftermarket parts market for barrels and trigger kits and things like that. The cool thing with the XD series is that the beaver tails on the sights, the front and rear sights, are the same between the XD, the XDS, the XDM. So I could take these sights off this XDS and put them on my XDM, and they would fit.
Yes.
They're the same sights. Actually, the rear sight is a little bit smaller on the XDS, but the beaver tail is the same. Dovetail.
Yes.
I'm getting my animals confused. The holsters, it's got a lot of options. It's been on the market for, I'm not even going to pretend to know how many years now. It's been it hasn't been too long.
No, it's
4 or 5 years.
Yeah, it's
Maybe.
still relatively young model.
Yeah, it's still fairly new, but it's been on long enough to have some holster options. I mean, it comes with this Springfield brand XD-S paddle holster. You can get things like this for it, and it works pretty well, and all the way down to these lovely little Versacarries. I mean, I know just how much people love those. But magazines, you can get 7 rounds, 8 rounds, 9 rounds.
Yeah.
High point.
Yes, the High Point, that does not have a lot of accessories for it, and there's reasons for that.
Yep.
The High Point, your accessories extend to magazines and general holsters.
Very general holsters. These are both universal holsters that I picked up. I don't know, I probably got them at Walmart. This one I know I did. I don't remember where I got this one, but they're just general holster sizes from Blackhawk, and they fit it pretty well, but I mean,
There are 2 holsters that we know of that are made for High Point.
yep.
And Phobos makes one, and Alien Gear makes holsters for them. They actually make inside the waistband holsters that will work for them.
I was really surprised when I heard that Alien Gear made an in waistband holster for it, because nobody else makes a specific in waistband holster for the High Point.
And that is the only one that I have seen.
Yeah. Aftermarket parts for customizing. I do firearm customizing, and there's very little you can do. I mean, there might be somebody out there that's making one-off parts for them.
Yeah, and they're few and far between.
They are. I searched long and hard and found a guy who made all aluminum one-piece replacement rear sights for these that was still fully adjustable, which was cool.
Yeah.
But by the time you bought the sight, you added 50% of the cost that you already paid for the gun back into the gun for just a rear sight that's not going to be any better than the one you had on there.
Yeah, and I just happened to cross a guy on a forum for High Points that does an aluminum trigger, and
Yeah.
that's kind of a under the table.
Well, was that just the trigger itself, or was it a full trigger kit?
No, that was a trigger itself.
So it didn't gain you any performance whatsoever?
No, all it gained you was the appearance. And they claim that some people have issues with pinching their fingers underneath it, between the trigger guard and the trigger. I've never had that issue. Derek hasn't had that issue. But it does look better, but for $25 or $50, you can't remember how much it was. I don't think it's really worth it.
If you're buying a High Point, you're not worried about looks.
No, you're worried about something that you can throw under the seat of your pickup.
Yeah, I mean,
Bury in a hole, dig it up in a few years.
yeah. You don't even have to put it in a hermetically sealed bag and just throw it in the hole, throw dirt on it. It won't grow. I mean, you come back and pull it out, shake it off, it'll shoot. Yeah, it's not the prettiest thing on earth. It's a forged steel slide that weighs about 10 pounds by itself.
Yeah.
And it's just a powder coat finish. It's a pretty even, it's a decent finish.
The finish looks appropriate, but
yeah, and it's actually not that hard to grab because of the texture of the powder coating.
no, the new ones have the serrations slightly different to make it a little easier, but
yeah,
all in all, it's still not bad.
yeah, and I don't know if you can see this, but the serrations on this are above this ridge. On the new ones, the serration is actually on that ridge, which is a lot easier to grasp. But yeah, it's that High Point. That thing it's a beast.
Yes, it is.
It is a beast.
It is. If you know how to tune it, it is a very reliable handgun.
Very reliable one. All these guns that we have on the table, we chose in interest of the use of concealed carry and on-person home defense.
Yes, and these are good examples of price ranges.
Right. And for the High Point, and you can get those. I got this one used for $120.
Yeah.
And which, according to Jay, you can get a new one for about that right now.
Yeah.
Like you said, the Beretta's in the $400 range.
Yeah, 350, 400.
300-400, and this one's in the 5 to 6, depending on where you're getting it. But as far as reliability is concerned, and choosing a weapon that's going to take whatever pounding you put it through, and going to keep coming back for more, I tell you what, you're just going to throw it in a drawer. This $200 High Point is a good choice.
Yes, yes. And on top of that, if you're worried if it's gonna break in 3 days after spending $200 on it, High Point has a warranty that is
second to none.
Yeah, literally, in any industry.
In any industry, yeah.
It has a unconditional lifetime of the firearm full warranty.
No questions asked.
No questions asked. I've heard of guys just finding them in the field, all rusty as ever, sending them in and either getting them fixed or getting them replaced.
Yep. Yep. And it doesn't matter if you're the first owner of it or the 20th owner, and it's fully transferable to every owner. Like I bought this gun out of a dealer secondhand, and I have the warranty for it as if I was the first owner. And I don't believe the Springfields and the Berettas have that.
No, Beretta has a 1-year warranty. If you fill out the registration for it within a certain number of days, I think it's 30 days, you can get up to 2 more years on top of that, and that's it.
Yeah.
And if you have any work done to it by a gunsmith that is not certified by Beretta, it voids the warranty right away.
Right.
So that is a very conditional warranty.
Right. Yeah, and the flip side of High Point having such a good warranty and service towards their customers is that if you do decide to just have the work done yourself, you know, and you in your mind you're saying, okay, it's a $120 handgun, it's just stopped working, I know what's wrong, I can fix this, and you decide to do it anyway, good luck finding the parts.
Yes, that's...
Nobody has parts for a High Point. They always just send them into the manufacturer, and the manufacturer does it.
Yeah, you can... Yeah, I've heard, the customer service is excellent with High Points. I've heard of guys taking them apart to clean them. Springs go flying, they don't know how to put it back together. They just put the pieces in a box, send it into High Point, and they fix it for them.
Yep.
It's kind of, well, not really, yeah, it ain't the best way of getting it put back together, but
yeah,
knowing how to do it is the best way, but
yeah, because you're stuck paying the shipping, so
yeah. But if something stupid does happen like that, they won't.
Well,
Yeah.
I can tell you this, you're not going to accidentally disassemble a High Point. It's not going to happen, because in order to disassemble this, there's this notch, and inside there is a roll pin that you have to take a 1/8 inch roll pin punch and a hammer and pound that pin out, and it allows the slide to lift off the back and slide out the front.
Yes.
And if you accidentally do that, you're doing a lot more than you should.
Yes, there are people that abuse these handguns to no end, and they do not even accomplish that.
Yeah, I mean, just look up on YouTube the
High Point torture test.
High Point C-9 torture tests. They are absolutely amazing at what they'll take.
Yes.
And I mean, here we are going on and on about the High Point. We've got 2 other guns on the table.
Yes.
I do want to make one quick point though while we're at it. Where is your Beretta made?
It says right on the slide, made in the USA.
But where is Beretta based out of?
Italy, isn't it? No.
Yeah, Beretta's an Italian company.
Yes.
So Beretta's Italian. That particular gun might be made in the USA.
Yes.
Springfield Armory Incorporated is a Croatian company. High Point,
Yes.
100% American made, American designed, American parts, American materials. Can't remember the name of the town.
Yeah, it's in Ohio.
Mansfield, Ohio.
Yes.
Every single firearm and part they make is in Mansfield, Ohio.
Actually, I think they have 2 other factories in other cities, but they're in Ohio.
Right, their headquarters.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to sit here and act like a total fool and say everything's in Ohio, because that's what the gun says. So.
Yeah, and that's what their website says too.
Yeah.
But there are 2 other cities.
Yeah.
Now, the Nano comes apart pretty easily. All you have to do, they say don't dry fire it because I'm not sure why, but yeah, you just clear it. Push in this button here I'm just using an ink pen. It's not hard to do, and then
We'll do a up close and personal
and
tabletop review on each of these weapons at some point in time.
and then you just use the rim of your casing is actually how they talk about it in the manual for this.
And I recommend not using a loaded round. I'm not saying it's going to go off, but just in case, you know.
Yeah. But quarter turn of this screw here, and it comes off, and you can do your maintenance to it. And one thing that I forgot to mention with the accessories is this internal chassis with taking out 2 pins will slide out, and you can put it in other polymer frames.
That is pretty cool.
And then the reassembly is simply put it on and done.
That is the easiest reassembly of a handgun I have ever seen. I love that. I wish my Springfield would do that, but here's where I have the Beretta beat. Springfield, clear, no tools, no ink pens, no bullets involved. Done. You have this, you do have to dry fire, and I'll do that one more time so you can see it in slow motion. This gun, unlike the Beretta, does have a slide lock. And it is not near as smooth on the outside. I do have the slide release and the slide lock back right here. So you lock the slide back like so, and then you take this release and go a quarter turn clockwise in the upright position, release the slide lock, and then make sure you have an empty chamber, because you do have to pull the trigger to dry fire, and then off it comes. Simple as all get out. And then here, this weapon is nice and dirty because we shot it today, and like great firearm owners we are, we forgot to clean it. And it's ready to go. And here you can see, if they were cleaned up, you can see that the front and rear slide rails are the steel that I was talking about, and the really nice polished barrel, double arrested trigger, spring. It's been a long day, so give me a break. Spring, double arrested spring.
Yes.
And just tear down is easy. Reassembly is easy. Done.
Yes.
Yeah, that's our basic rundown of these 3 handguns.
We will probably do one-on-ones of each of these
For sure.
to go more in depth with them, but this is just an intro. And
Yep. Yeah, and just keep watching, subscribe, so you can get the latest videos from Guns Forever here, and we'd love to see your comments below. Thank you.